Tom Brady's career NFL earnings, including this upcoming season, is almost $333 million. His 10-year deal to be an analyst far exceeds that for Fox. It's insane. All right, let's start the Daily Thread right there. Bring in Tommy Curran, Tommys, and Tommy Giles. Curran, you've covered Brady his entire career. What was your reaction when you saw this news this morning?
This is the latest eyebrow raiser that, in hindsight, really shouldn't be an eyebrow raiser. There is nothing that Tom Brady, since he's been loosed from his gilded cage here in New England, won't try to conquer. There is no Everest that he won't try to climb. And when you think of world domination, that's what he seems to be interested in. And that's fine. It's just interesting to me that an individual as competitive as him can be held captive in one spot for 20 years, have the success that he's enjoyed, and then when he gets out, there is absolutely no limit to what he'll try and do. So when we say, well, I guess he's not going to be an owner now, don't be so friggin' sure.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, that was kind of my initial reaction. Like, I thought Brady would probably just vault right into the ownership category. But, and it says 10-year deal and everything else. He could go do this for 2 years and then become an owner anyways, like right after it. So why not? I actually think that part of it is his competitive spirit. You know, Peyton Manning's doing this. He's really good. He's getting paid all this money. I think I can do this better than Peyton Manning. I can do this better than Tony Romo. There's that element to it that I think he's interested in.
Well, and now it's the thing to do. If you're a top quarterback, then all the networks want to have you on their airwaves. And so I can't imagine this is the only network that bid for Tom Brady's services. I'm sure anybody would have moved anyone around to make room for him. So I was not surprised by this at all, because also for the people who were saying, well, I think he'll just work on TB12. But TB12 is all behind the scenes. If you're on Fox every single Sunday doing the marquee game of the week, and your name stays in everyone's consciousness, I'm sure he can't obviously work TB12 things on the air, but when you push stuff, you get a whole new set of eyeballs on you that maybe very few probably weren't there before, but at least you're staying in everybody's purview. I
mean, Terry Bradshaw pitches innumerable things in addition to his Fox duties. So, it is funny when you mention that it is vetted, because it used to be, okay, Phil Simms did it and Dan Fouts still does it and on. But they were tie-wearing, jacket-wearing, appropriate, knee-bending analysts who were pretty much straight-laced. I think in Brady's case, because of Romo and Peyton Manning, they'll do it with a different wrinkle. Now, how good will Brady be? I think everyone's going to turn out to watch him. I don't think he cares as much about being liked as people think. I think that he does like the Buck convention, but I'll say this, he does not like to be criticized. And if he doesn't do well, he will take it very personally. It's one thing to criticize his decisions personally and professionally. It's another for his performance. So I think that'll be fascinating to watch.
Does it bother you as a Brady fan? There are some people who are like, oh, God, now he's doing this. Like, can he ever just not be in the public eye for a little bit? Like, that was one of my first reactions. Like, okay, you got to be on TV now, because God forbid that Tom Brady isn't in everyone's consciousness for like 32 seconds. So now everybody's talking about him in the offseason, and now we're going to talk about him every week, whether he's bad or he's good. It's like he just can't leave the spotlight.
That doesn't bother me. If he were to, say, retire in 3 months because he's got this deal sitting out there, that would bother me. Because he retired, then he unretired, and if he somehow retires before the 2022 season, like, what are we doing here? I understand the money's there, but don't go through the whole song and dance again. Like, you have to play the 2022 season.
We used to murder Brett Favre for this. Murder him. Now, Brett Favre was never as accomplished as Brady, so I don't think he really ever held the sway, and he made it much more dramatic, and Brady still has a long way to go before he approaches what Brett Favre used to annually do. But I think, I said this in the email, he's gone from Beaver Cleaver to Hugh Hefner. I mean, he has, and this is dating myself a little bit.
Leave It to Beaver is a classic.
He has gone from
coming from somebody, Eddie Haskell over here,
who was big. You are more Eddie Haskell than me. He grew up as an NFL person in a very cloistered society where he didn't think there was anything else beyond really the city limits. And now that he's found that there are, there's nothing he won't sample. There's nothing he won't try. There is no bed he won't jump into and roll around metaphorically and have a good time.
I am curious, though, like, how do NFL players, even the players that are on his team, what do they think about this? Because it's like, well, Tom Brady can just leave at any moment. He's going to get all this money. And it also, He's already getting $30 million this year. He's got basically close to $40 million annually waiting for him after this. I
guess that's the irony of all in that he demands from everyone else, because it is May. He doesn't have to be all in on OTAs and everything right now, but there is a not exactly all in mentality when you've got your post-career and you got your TB12 and you have, you're running the team ostensibly that you're a part of, and you have a production company and you have a documentary and another documentary and you have a movie coming out. I mean,
he's everywhere.
Is there any yacht that he cannot water ski behind at this point?
I mean, I don't think there is any yacht he won't water ski behind.
That was from Wall Street. I don't know. That was from Wall Street, too. It's another reference that dated me.
All right. Well, Julian Edelman did take to Twitter to weigh in on the Brady news. Quote, when he retires, end quote. Hashtag believe it when I see it, and tagged Brady with a picture of a not so young looking Brady. Look at that beard. It might actually resemble Ryan Fitzpatrick.
It's like Moose.
Ben Volen tweeting this, quote, by eventually joining Fox and not a specific team's front office ownership group, Brady also makes himself available to all 32 teams in theory to come out of retirement at any time, no strings attached. Let's bring Adam Jones into the conversation. Jones, I mean, why do you think he wants to be like, to me, this is a perfect setup. Like, he wanted to play till he's 45. Now he's going to play through his 45 year, and he's going to walk off into the sunset, and he's going to have a big mega deal waiting for him at the end of the rainbow.
Yeah, I wonder if something went south with the situation in Miami. Like, and Tom, you would know more about this than me, but I wonder if something, whether it's the Flores lawsuit, whatever it may be, I wonder if Brady had plan A for his post-career. That fell through, and now, all right, let's go do TV, and then maybe there's a finite amount of time I do that for, and I go back to the ownership thing. It seemed like that's what he was doing. That was my first reaction to it after just being shocked by the news, but that's my best ballpark guess.
Why were you shocked?
I didn't think he'd want to do it. I feel like when you've made as much money and been as successful as he is, I didn't feel like you'd want the criticism of sitting there in front of the country, getting raked over the coals if you suck at it, like you guys were talking about before. I don't think Brady needs it and or wants it. It's a lot of money, which is great, but I'm surprised he wanted to do it.
I wonder if they kept anteing up until he finally got to a point where he couldn't say no. Like $375 million. He's going to be a part of the NFL ostensibly till he's 55 or 56. From the time he was 21 or 22, he is the most accomplished. See if you agree with this. Is he the most accomplished figure in NFL history? Owner, coach, player. You can talk George Hallis or Vince Lombardi.
Yeah, sure.
You can talk Belichick.
Who else?
Yeah,
Nobody.
He is.
Because that length of time, from 2000 to what the hell is it going to be, 2035?
Yeah. Are you by Fox reaching out to you too? You gonna get in the broadcast booth?
No, we have fences to mend. We have fences to mend. We'll see what we can do there.
Right. Rising tide floats all boats. Though. Work its way down to us in the media.
And Kay is leaving too.
Yeah.
As far as Fox goes, like, I can understand why they put this out here now. They want to respond and say, yeah, we lost Joe Buck, we lost Troy Aikman, but we got Tom Brady coming, because otherwise I don't see how the timing really makes that much sense for Brady, considering I assume he is playing football.
Well, he picked up Tom Brady, agreeing to the reported contract for $375 million over 10 years. 37% are happy for him. 26% said go away already. 14% say. This is the interesting part. 14% think it's going to be appointment TV, but 23% of people think it's going to be a waste of money. I don't know if he's going to be a good analyst, because he has opened up more in recent years and he's become like a more sort of enjoyable interview. But all due respect, he's a great football player, but like, let's just use a sample of him going on Saturday Night Live versus like Peyton Manning or commercials. Brady's no Peyton Manning.
No, and
he doesn't have like the aw shucks approachable nature that Peyton does.
And like, I don't know, not for nothing, I would like a little bit of edge to the commentary, where I think Romo lacks. I would like that. Does Brady want to do that? Does Brady want to criticize anybody?
Yeah, I think Manning does have a little edge.
Maybe Bill.
Yeah.
Maybe Bill. I think Manning does have a little edge because he gets so exasperated on those Manning casts.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Will Brady be that expressive about Baker Mayfield's ridiculous thing?
Normal and authentic.
Well, that's the other problem, too. Like, I also know, I wonder if Tom Brady can explain things in layman terms, because he's doing
without cursing, because I've seen him on Man in the Arena. I don't know if he can do it without cursing.
Because he can break down everything that's going on in the field, and he knows it better than anybody else. But can he also convey that to the viewer? That's going to be extremely difficult without using too much football terminology that might get lost in the weeds.
What's interesting is, as his career has gone along, his willingness to criticize, I think, the way the game has evolved. When he talks about, hey, quarterbacks now don't take care of their receivers, they throw them into trouble, or the business aspects of football that he is willing to criticize. Will he be willing to do that with Fox?
Will he be willing to criticize players, though, especially
I think
if
so.
he wants to become an owner? Like, if that's still in his, in his forward mirror.
If he can scream at guys to the point where they turtle and are completely ruined for their NFL careers before they get out there, I don't think he'll have a problem doing it on TV.
Can you imagine being Bruce Arians today, by the way? You're like, you shoved me out the door for this? You're one more year, and I'm shoved out the door just so you can go to TV in 1 year? Like, imagine being Bruce Arians.
Yeah, Bruce Arians is actually going to be the guy who fills in for Brady for a year before Brady takes over. That deal, they didn't announce that yet. That was done before the Brady deal.
Send it down to Bruce on the sidelines. Bruce, is it cold down there?